Thank you once again. This is Sam's Corner, and you're welcome back for another episode. My name is Sam, and today I just want us to be talking about the past week UCL fixtures and the Europa League matches. And I'll be having my guest with me, my man Nesta, will be joining us shortly to discuss the Champions League games and the Europa League games that went on. A few surprises here and there in this matches. Some expected victories, some expected losses, but surprising wins as well. Before we get into it, there's this matter going on in our country that I want to share a little bit on it. But before that, I want us to watch this video. So, the video you just saw is the River Pratt joining the sea in Ghana. And you could tell the difference between both waters. Years ago, you could not tell the difference that much, except maybe the taste, which the sea obviously is salty. Na sɛ mo ara mohwɛ nsuo ne deɛ ayɛ a, yɛman Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo. I'm not someone who likes to talk about politics because I have no idea in politics, but weyɛ adeɛ a ɛkɔ so a sɛ yɛahwɛ ne yɛansi ano kwan a daakye bi a nsuo mpo yɛnnya bi ne anom. Ɛba saa so a nnuane ɛso ho bɛka, mmoa ɛbɛwu. Our forests ɛne yɛn nsuo no a yɛsɛɛ no for the little amount of money a ebinom kakra binom bɛnya ne nti a yɛsɛe ɔman yi. Sɛ yɛahwɛ ne yie a yɛnhu ne yie daakye. And mpanimfoɔ a ɛwɔ sɛ yɛdi anim no, ɔmo mmom ɛna ɛhyɛ aseɛ ɛdi saa adwuma yi. Yɛsrɛ mo, mpanimfoɔ mohwɛ na monka ho bibi. Wei ɛkɔbɔ po no mu. That means ɛnyɛ Ghana nko a na effect no, ɛbɛ effect wiase afa na nyina. So the likelihood of the UN and the World Health Organization coming down on Ghana for these activities is high. It is a what is a dua mu makoku a ɛsa bubɔ wa. Wo de odwen sɛ wo yɛ na wo a wo tesoro no wo bi nka wa. Ewie na bɛsa abɛka wo. Côte d'Ivoire, Togo, Burkina, Benin, ombitimi asiwie say yes say omo ensuo because if you are na ekɔ omo ho. Na we nyina no ema oman enkoso. Enti enene kakra ade ana mepɛ can make fa Galamsey and the stop Galamsey protester ekoso no. Omo to omo asi ho sɛ omo soso be to agu mmɔnten so ayɛ yɛkyerɛ de atia deɛ ekoso yi nso so no. Yitamochi from here. We can be in Ghana to support, but we are supporting from here. We hope the leaders will hear your march and your cries and know that this is something not just for NDC, MPP, CPP, Kwiadonko. No, this is something. It should be currently regarded as a state of an emergency and to be treated as such in the country. I hope Akufo-Addo do this at least this good before he leaves. I hope so. All right. Coming back to this week's Champions League matches, there were some great goals, some great games that went on. surprising. I said earlier, like surprising score lines and here and there. I want us to watch some of these before we discuss that with my man Nesta. Before I discuss with Nesta, I wanted to watch this. Some beautiful goals, hat trick, braces. It was an insightful, like always. The Champions League always delivers. All right, those were some of the games that went on. Some goals or some excerpts from those games. I have my man Nesta here with me, and we are going to be talking about some of these games in the Europa League as well as Manchester United, of course, obviously. Welcome, Nesta, and I hope you're doing well. So quickly, with through the current standings and some of the games, not all the games, but some of the games that went on this week, midweek, with both the UCL, the Champions League, and the Europa League. We're first going to start with the Champions League, and I want to quickly go over some of the scoreline. Salzburg, surprisingly, again, lost to Brest 4-0, and Brest is still surprising me. Stuttgart 1-1 with Sparta. Arsenal, we're going to come to that game. Dortmund 7-1. Oh my God, Arsenal Dortmund ran right out on that. Barcelona winning 5-0 against Young Boys, as everybody would have presumed. Inter 4-0 against Red Star Belgrade. Leverkusen beating Milan, which most people saw that, but yeah, that's one of the few games we want to talk about. PSV 1-1, losing to Man City, Bratislava, sorry. Girona and Feyenoord, that was a good game. The back and forth goals, Feyenoord coming back to win 3-2. Shakhtar 0 to Atlanta. Atlanta, and they just taking that form from last season, and they look to improve on that. From the Europa to the Champions League. Atleti losing 0 to Benfica. I didn't see that coming. The score line, even if they're going to lose to Benfica. Genk, Dynamo 2-2, Monaco. Salis is scoring in the comeback. Leipzig 2, Juventus 3. Lille, Juventus again, I think, coming back to beat Leipzig. Real Madrid. Okay, that's one of the games I want us to talk about too, bro. Real Madrid, Liverpool 2 and Storm Graz 0. So the four games I want us to talk: Arsenal beating PSG, Leverkusen, Milan. Not too much there to talk, but Aston Villa, surprisingly, and then Real Madrid. Let's start with Aston Villa beating Bayern. Did you see that? Did you see that coming? Aston Villa beating Real Madrid.
No, well, Aston
Sorry.
Villa beat Bayern. I didn't see that coming, but I knew that they were not going to go down without a fight. They were massive underdogs. However, I mentioned before that Unai Emery has a really great track record when it comes to Europe. Forget about like remontada with PSG and Barcelona back in 2017. He has a great track record. I mean, he's won the Europa League a couple of times. And Thierry Henry always said that Unai Emery is a great coach. It was just unfortunate with how things panned out at Arsenal. But we've seen the past couple of seasons that he's building something at Aston Villa where they know how to suffer. And I mentioned that teams that know how to suffer will go far in the Champions League. It's a knockout tournament. So teams that know how to suffer, they can go far. And when you watch the game, when you watch the game, you could tell that he had the experience more. He has more experience than Company. Company had the bigger team, had the best player, had the really good players. But Unai Emery had home advantage. He had this European experience. The goal it was a three touches. Martinez to the defender. The defender lobbed the ball over,
Yeah.
and Duran like made a run so the keeper was out, and then he lobbed him. It was an absolute amazing goal. Actually, I could see it coming. Honestly, when the defender made that pass over the midfield, I just could tell because Neuer notoriously is always off of his line because Bayern plays a higher line, so he becomes like the defender, the sweeper keeper.
I think that is one detail Unai might have told his players from his
right, absolutely,
Duran
yes.
Looked at the situation, didn't even think about it much. He's like, okay,
Yep.
I know he's out. But my take on this was currently or recently the English teams struggle against Bayern. Arsenal, was it Manchester United last 2 seasons ago? So Bayern coming to England, they've had their way, except for a few instances,
Right.
I think. And for none other team than Aston Villa to cause this upset. I was impressed.
Yeah, there is some familiarities going on there, right? Company played in EPL. Harry Kane was at Tottenham Hotspur, so the Spurs defenders know him. They've played with some of them have played with him in the England squad, so kind of know his movements. And let's not forget like Leroy Sané, Serge Gnabry at Arsenal. There is some familiarity going on. However, once again, I believe Company is a great coach. I really hope he succeeds at Bayern. But in Europe, you'll be exposed, and that's what happened. You'll be exposed. Like I watched the game, they created chances here and there. They had a couple of chances that could have resulted in goals.
I think the first
on any given on any given day or on another night, they probably win. But this new format with teams playing each other once, the home team or the smaller team will always have a say in the scoreline, and we can see how this week went. Like Lille beating Madrid, So Aston Villa, they are building something. They've been a menace. Like last season, they held their own against the top teams. So Bayern come in with Company being a new coach. And Bayern just went through a phase of not doing so well, and now they're trying to build themselves up. Forget about that 9-2 scoreline against like Dynamo Zagreb. I remember I told you that was probably a fluke.
Yeah.
But Aston Villa, they stayed compact. They condensed the spaces in the middle because Kimmich is a good distributor of the ball. They condense the spaces. Their lateral like defenders, their left back like Lucas Digne and I think Konsa, they stayed disciplined. They didn't get too like sucked into attack. They focused on defensive duties, and at the end of the day, they had that one chance and they scored. And I actually enjoyed that game. It was the game that I watched on Wednesday because Barca played on Tuesday, so I had the chance to watch.
Your game wasn't a game. Barca game wasn't a game. Kudos to Aston Villa though.
Absolutely,
Emery.
yeah.
I really appreciate the work he's doing, and I know he's going to give it to us this weekend. I know they're going to beat Manchester United, no doubt about it.
We'll see. Manchester United United has a way of showing up when nobody expects them. So
I don't want to go there yet.
We'll see.
You mentioned like the little teams, and I want us to transition to the Madrid game. For almost 36 games unbeaten in Europe,
games, yep.
And to go to lose to none other team like Lille. Were you shocked?
I was shocked, yes. But Lille has been doing very well in the league, in the French League One. The truth is that because of PSG, nobody really gets to see the other teams. But Jonathan Davis, who is amazing, and I think he says he wants to come to Barca, so we'll see how that goes. But I think he's an amazing player. And once again, this new format, the small teams that are playing at home, they just need to psych themselves up that we get to play Madrid once. We don't have to go to Santiago Bernabeu. So
Mhm.
if we're able to take the 3 points on display, great for us. And that is exactly what they did.
Yeah.
And Madrid is still learning how to figure it out. And I
They're
mentioned this
still
before.
doing.
They are still learning. Their players are out of form. They're not really performing well. But I still believe that Madrid and City are the favorites to win this UCL. But Madrid still has some figuring out to do. There was an instance where their forward players were just walking, and Jude was pressing and nobody was helping him, and he was just banging his hands like on the turf. That why are you guys not pressing? So that was one thing that we discussed, that it will hunt Madrid because Mbappe is not going to track back, Vinicius is not going to track back,
Mm-mm.
Rodrigo is not going to track back. So that puts a lot of pressure on the midfield and on their defense, and they don't have a composer like Cruz.
Cruz.
Chouamini is not a composer. Chouamini and Camavinga in the middle, it was a disaster.
They are very
They
rigid.
were
Those two
right.
players.
It was a disaster. They were completely overrun by Lille. As a Barca fan, I was happy that Madrid lost. Hey, I'm not gonna
Sorry.
hide that. I'm not gonna hide that. I was happy that
So
they lost, but I won't take anything away from Madrid though. Madrid is probably still gonna win this year. I still believe that Madrid will probably win.
no, you saying that you still think Madrid and City as the favorites. Um, would you count Arsenal after them beating after what they did to
No,
Paris?
no.
What do you think of that
Arsenal.
game?
I think PSG was always going to lose that game, right? So PSG, first of all, they have a terrible record in England. And second of all, the like the drama, PSG is the new FC Hollywood. The drama started a couple of days before with the coach putting Dembele out of
Dembele.
his squad, and there was
Yeah,
the whole
that's
pregame
messy.
was about Dembele. Why is Dembele not in the squad? And because Dembele is French and Luis Enrique is like Spanish, like
Spanish.
the media always take the side of their compatriot, which in this case was Dembele. And Enrique had to explain himself that the board is in full support. They agree with my decision. So it took away from their preparation. I believe even the players, they were probably distracted. And when I saw that scoreline, I wasn't surprised. PSG have been massively underperforming in Europe in the past so many years. So and Arsenal, with all their signings, with what Arteta is trying to build, it wasn't a surprise. The surprise for me, honestly, was only 2 goals. To be honest, um, I thought Arsenal was going to probably score more.
Yeah, I think after a while, Arsenal retreated a little and just
They're probably
they
conserving
wanted
like
to
like
just play off the counter and
energy.
just contain. It could have been worse. But the last one on the Champions League I want you to quickly take is Benfica destroying Atleti 4-0.
Yes.
Atleti, I thought they had some good signings.
So
What is going on?
Diego Simeone is not an attacking coach. When he started his coaching career, he actually approached Pep Guardiola. Pep was at Barca at the time. He approached Pep. Pep showed him how Barca trains, how Barca is able to do that high line and press so high, and the risks and the benefits involved with pressing so high and pressing aggressively. And he said that it's not for him. He likes his team to stay compact and counter, play hard, and that kind of worked. It won him a title in 2013. Was it 2014? I think it was the 2014 title. They won a title,
20.
and then they won another title a couple of years ago during the pandemic time.
Yeah.
But right now, he's been getting a lot of criticism that he's too rigid. He has good players to play attacking football. The whole Joao Felix case, that Joao Felix doesn't fit his system. So he went out and bought attacking players. Like Ronaldo is an attacking player. He went and got like Julian Alvarez. He got all these other players,
Yeah.
and now he doesn't have the compact defense anymore. He doesn't know how to play attacking football. That is just Atletico. That is why Xavi was able to beat him 5 games in a row. Atletico is not a possession-based team. They know how to work hard. They know how to suffer, but they're not a possession-based team. So I think he, just as we say about Madrid, Diego Simeone is also having to figure himself out with how he wants his team to play. And I think in the meantime, unfortunately, they're going to suffer. One other factor was that the game against Madrid, it was very draining. Even me as a neutral watching that game, it was draining for me. So how much more the players? That game was very draining. It was played on a Sunday. Them and Madrid, after that, they both went away. And Benfica wasn't really very good last season. Last season, they were very bad, to be honest.
They
And
were very below par. Yes.
yeah, so I think this season they're getting some things right. And when Benfica is good at Estadio de Luz, they are really good. And that's one thing I can say. When they are good at home, they are very good. So it happened to be one of those nights that they were very good. They caught Atletico in transitions and they punished them.
Oh man. I hope Simeone, because you can only go by a kind of style for so long. I mean, the fans can only take it for so
So
long.
long. Yep. Yep.
You've had your success, but the past 2 seasons it's not working. And
Yep.
with the signings he's had, I hope that he adapts to the changing of the game.
And
Everybody,
he's the highest paying manager, I think,
yeah,
in the whole of Europe.
yes, he's on a very big salary that they can only continue for long, especially these days
Right.
where fans get one or two losses and they are coming for your head. So, all right. Um, I look forward to match day three and the rest of the games because it's
Yes.
fun. It's fun. The new
Yes.
system is fun. All right, quickly, Europa League. Um,
Can we before we jump to the Europa League, I want to talk about the Juventus RB Leipzig game
oh yeah, the Leipzig game.
for maybe like a minute. To be
Okay,
honest,
sure.
for Juve to
Uh-huh.
come back and win that game 3-2
Yeah,
when they were a man down,
a
that's very
man down.
impressive. Away at Leipzig. Leipzig has caused so many teams trouble. We saw how their games with Madrid went last season. Um,
Yeah.
Sesko, great striker. I think great striker. He actually missed a couple of chances in the dying minutes of that game. I think they could have tied the game, but Juve, Mota taking his team there, getting that red card, and this is his debut season in Europe, by the way. With what he did at Bologna, I think that was very impressive. I think Juve played well. I think they did well. I think Mota is going to be a very good coach, and I'm smiling because he's from Barca as well. When
I
he came from
know. As soon
Brazil,
as
he
you
played
said,
he played in Barca B for a couple of seasons. He got promoted. He was actually part of the team that won the Champions League in 2005 or 2006 against Arsenal. So
then he went to Inter to win it with Inter.
with Inter, and then I think he played for Paris as well.
Yeah, for a short.
So when Barca sacked Xavi, people mentioned his name. Mota, his name came up.
Really?
He was actually very strongly considered, yes. But Juan Laporta is in love with the German school of coaches. So he had to get his German coach, and that's why Flick came. Flick is doing great, but I hope in the next couple of seasons or the next 3 seasons, when if he doesn't renew his contract and he wants to leave, I hope Barca goes and get Mota. I think Mota also would like to come back. I mean, it's either Mota or Fabregas, and I'm hoping either one of them will come back. So that is why I was smiling, and that is why I'm interested in Juve this season. I want to see how
Uh,
Mota does with the big team.
uh, that handball was stupid though. As a professional player at that level, you just take
Yeah,
it to the
it
chest.
happens. It happens.
All
It
right.
happens. Trust me.
Okay. So with Europa, we are looking at this standing right now. Lazio, Leon, Tottenham, Anderlecht, and the top eight: Ajax, Frankfurt, Galatasaray. Ajax even not doing that great, but they are ahead of Manchester United. All these teams, Hoffenheim, Midtjylland, Slavia. If you are talking of Manchester United playing in the European competition and being in this position after 2 games, and look at the teams: Rangers, Isaac Akma, Malmo, Braga, Elfsborg. Uh, okay, some of the I want us to look at some of the games. Sorry. Some of the results of the match day two. Which ones do you want to talk about? I want you to pick any before we come to Manchester United. Pick two, and then we come to Manchester United one.
I think Roma, like losing was quite interesting. Uh, Roma, 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 as always, have to be dramatic, right? They brought Rosie in and Daniele De Rossi in. He salvaged their season last season, and then this season they went winless for only 4 games,
And then they
and he
sacked
got
him.
the sack. Yep, and the supporters got so angry. The sporting director resigned. She said, "I don't want this role anymore," and she's gone. And they hired I forgot the name of the coach they hired, but he's not doing too good either. So Roma has to be dramatic, and they went and lost. Can you bring the scoreline up again,
Yeah,
please?
sure. 1 second. I think when I bring it up, it's
I Oh yes, I actually wrote a couple of games down. Sorry about that. I didn't know it was on my notes.
okay.
I was surprised that Real Sociedad lost at home at Anoeta against RSC Anderlecht, and Real Sociedad is not doing too good this season. They sold a few of their players. They believe in homegrown players, right? So they're trying to promote players and buy low cost players and kind of mold them into a very good team. This season, it's not going too well. Zubimendi chose to stay, but like Mikel Merino left, and they lost a few other guys that I don't remember their names, but um, they didn't really they haven't adequately replaced Alexander Isak. They bought that Nigerian striker who blows like hot and cold. So Larell is really going through it. Kubo is good, but I think sometimes he's too prideful. He lets his pride get the better part of him. And to lose at home at Anoeta to Anderlecht, that's interesting, to be honest. So that was a surprising scoreline as well.
Uh, uh, um. Okay. Now let's come to Manchester United to wrap up.
You see that acrobat video where he says Manchester United and he starts laughing. That's all like I was thinking about.
Trust me, man. I've gotten to the
Manchester
point
United,
where
man.
I don't get upset again. I just laugh it off because I've said my piece, and I think by now everybody knows where I stand with this team. And I've said it that if Ten Hag survives Christmas, Manchester United will be looking at relegation come the end of the season. You don't expect him to stay past Christmas. Okay, so this game, you
Hmm.
go ahead 2-0 within 19 minutes. And it took you 13 minutes to concede 2 goals. And went ahead, conceded again. And this Alo Atombe's goal away from Maguire out of nowhere. Okay, how do you take this performance and what do you think going forward? The man you be
United, it's not just the coach, right? You guys put Rashford on a big contract. I think he earns like £300,000 a week or something like that.
yeah.
Bruno was playing good until he also earned a new contract, high wages, captain's armband, and he started to dip. 2 red cards in 2 games. Um, the first one against Tottenham was quite unfortunate, but you don't go ahead and get another red card in the second game running. Um, United don't know the style they have. I honestly, when I watch United games, I don't know if they have a style. It's like the coach just puts the players there and relies on individual brilliance, either Garnacho going down the line or I don't know. I don't know what we've spoken about this. The transfer policy is terrible. The coach needs to go, but when the coach goes, who is coming? And if the coach leaves, who is living with him? You guys, Rashford, nobody's gonna pay top dollar for Rashford and put him on those wages anymore. That's not gonna happen. And Rashford is past being a potential young player. He's not a potential young player anymore. English media try not to criticize him, but dude is not playing well. He's average. You know,
Yes.
your midfield, who is the destroyer? Who is the composer? Who is the playmaker? Mason Mount was playing so well at Chelsea. He comes to United and suddenly he can't play. it's something that goes deep more than the coach. It's a system. The other day I was reading an article and someone was saying that the United Way invented by Alex Ferguson, um, it was really not the United Way. It was the Alex Ferguson way because the United Way was Alex Ferguson. The system was Alex Ferguson, and when he left, he took the system with him. Um, I think the squad needs complete revamp, but to be honest, the coach and the players they all need to take a look at themselves. Ten Hag needs to go, but my question to you as a United fan is, who are you going to hire? Like Thomas Tuchel? You had Jadon Sancho, and then you got rid of him and told us that you have enough wingers, and the enough wingers you have is Anthony, Ahmad, Garnacho, and Rashford. Do you see the trend?
a false excuse.
Like, do you see the trend? Rashford, first of all, doesn't want to play winger. He never crosses, he never passes. He always wants to cut in and bend the ball and get all the accolades. Garnacho is good. I think of all four players, is probably the one that is really good. Ahmad is good, but I think he's injured too, right?
No, he's not. He played yesterday.
It's not. But I think Ahmad is not a world beater yet. I think he will be a good squad player. He can learn from somebody, but he's not the main guy yet.
Still young, and he's still
right.
This is his first season where he hasn't been sent to on loan. He's been on loans, and now this is his first getting opportunity. So, like you said, you're right.
Don't get me started on like Anthony.
Oh,
don't get me started on him. Don't get me started on him. So I think United, nobody knows the system they're playing. Nobody knows what they're doing. It's at this point it's smash and grab. Anything that works, anything that gets us point. And he's defiant in his interviews, talking about since he's been in England, Manchester City, besides City winning all the trophies, he has the second most trophies. And
that's
knockout games are completely different. Knockout games, you can be terrible, you have one moment and you score and you win the game. It doesn't mean what you're doing is working. But I also read an interview where the Athletic, that sports like newspaper, they said they interviewed a lot of the United players after the FA Cup win against Manchester City last season, and the players did not back Ten Hag to stay, but they also did not back him to leave either. They were kind of in the middle, but they complain about their style of play. And I think one of the examples was that there's no way a team like Burnley, who went to relegation, should come to Old Trafford and completely dominate United. And those were some of the things that the players mentioned that the team needs to improve. So it was more like.
So then, what you're trying to say is that he might be potentially a good coach, but needs to come out. He's not there yet.
Yes. Yeah, he's not there yet. I mean, Arne Slot went to Liverpool and they've lost only one game, and even that game that they lost against like Nottingham Forest, that was just one of those days where they were just bad. But when United wins, you guys are still bad. The game against like Southampton, you guys eventually won 4-0, but if Southampton scores that penalty, it's a completely different game. I honestly don't know what's going on with Manchester United.
Listen, and Postecoglou or whatever.
Angie Postecoglou.
Postecoglou with Tottenham came in, although they haven't won any trophy, but you could tell from the season he came that he changed
the style of play.
With Tottenham, and they were messy in the dressing room, and he's contained everybody. Newcastle came with is it Eddie Howe?
Howe, yep. Mm-hmm.
And recently with you said Arne Slot, and this other guy taking over Chelsea, Maresca.
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea started the season on a slow start and with so much confusion. Now he's got the players thinking, I have to work for my spot. I have to work to get in the team. I have to play to the coach's style of play. I know they have a lot of players, and I didn't get most of the signings he made, even though he had similar player traits available. But
competition.
It's about how you make the players play to your system. Like that is what is.
And it's also making them believe in you, right? I feel like I feel like United coach, he came in and he's like, okay, I'm gonna go bring players that worked for me in the past, and he went and brought Anthony, and then he went and brought
Martinez,
Mazraoui, and then he went and brought Martinez. He went and brought
Delect,
Mathis,
Delect.
Delect, and then he wanted like Frankie.
Yeah.
Um, my thing is the players. If I'm a player and the coach comes in and he wants to go and bring players, not one or two players, but he wants to go and bring almost half of the team from his previous team or players that he's worked with. It tells me that he doesn't believe in me.
And me.
Um, he doesn't believe in me, so he hasn't. The players haven't bought into what he's trying to teach them or what he's trying to sell to them. And United players are spoiled. Rashford is spoiled. That first goal against Tottenham, he lost the ball and he didn't even try to
Yoma.
track back. He's on a big contract. He's a darling boy. He's from the academy. Nobody right now. United don't even have like a good winger besides Garnacho. So Rashford knows he's going to play. And Ten Hag is busy grabbing power. Oh, I don't like you. You have to leave. Oh, you didn't do this. You have to leave.
Yeah.
A coach doesn't do that. You have to make you can be straight without having to grab power. I mean,
Yeah.
Alex Ferguson made it known that he was the boss, but he had a track record to prove it. He won the treble, he won 13 EPL titles.
Yeah.
Like nobody can talk back at him. And when even now when Gary Neville and Evra they talk about Alex Ferguson, you can see that there is a reverence, there is a
Yep.
respect
The
there.
respect level is still there.
It's still there. Ten Hag, the other day, he responded to Ronaldo about that's why he's in Saudi Arabia and that's why he's not here anymore. It's not necessary. It's not.
No.
It's very unnecessary. I feel like United. I feel like Ten Hag needs to go, but half of the players needs to go. I love Christian Eriksen, but he's way past his prime. Casemiro needs to go. I know what's his name. Like Maguire scored the goal yesterday. He plays good when called upon. He needs to go.
Yeah.
Honestly, who else? Rashford needs to go. Ahmad, you guys probably have to sell him. Mason Mount didn't work out. Either you play Mason Mount as a 10 or as a winger. He's not getting played that. He's getting played false 9 or he's getting played as an 8, like a rigid 8. Bruno Fernandes, I think he needs to go too, but people will come and fight with me because he has the goals and the assists. But football is more
Yeah.
than goals and assists. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I,
Manchester United,
I,
they,
I,
they need a complete revamp, to be honest.
and I agree with you on most of what you said. I believe some of these players have had their time, and it's Anthony,
Hmm.
for instance. We need to just sell him right now and recoup whatever we can get from it, because we know in business it's either profit or a loss, and him
Unless,
it's a loss. So we have to understand and sell him as soon as possible, and use that little amount of money to find a prospect. Players like Ericsson and Rashford, Maguire, somebody like Luke
they
Shaw.
need
There's
to
no way we
go.
can get 15 games a season from Luke Shaw now. We don't know where
Mm-mm,
he is.
mm-mm.
Uh, you are right. We need a complete revamp, and I hope these new directors, sporting director and his team are watching and are preparing something for the future. And I hope it has turned out.
And I honestly don't. I feel like the transfer policy is so curious and interesting. Why would you go and buy Manuel Ugarte from PSG? The funny thing is he couldn't even start at PSG.
Yep.
He couldn't start over like Vitinha and Fabian Ruiz, and you guys go and buy for like 60 million. Like what? Why paying so much for him?
Don't get me wrong.
And
He has potential, but the price tag.
the price, because people know that United is desperate. That's the problem. Teams know that United
And
is
trust me, this
desperate.
season there were midfield options who could have cost less with the same amount of
Hmm.
potential as Ugarte.
Yep.
Aston Villa is progressing with Onana. Onana was right
Onana,
at Everton.
exactly. It was Everton,
At
and he had played
Everton
in the
in
EPL
the
before.
same
He
league
knows
as
the
us.
EPL.
So we are telling us we didn't see him in the EPL playing against us.
Dewsbury Hall at Leicester,
Dewsbury Hall.
very good player. You guys didn't buy him. Maresca took him to
That was
Chelsea.
that was the same thing I thought with Anthony's buy. Like the same amount of money could have bought Son from Tottenham.
From Tottenham,
Son is proven in the league. Run his ass off.
Chilwell, Chelsea was ready to let Chilwell go. You guys could have taken him on loan, see how he progresses, and probably buy him next season. And now you guys got what's his name, Damien, or who plays like left back, that Portuguese player.
Because Malacia and Shaw are all injured. And
they are
you have to
injured.
force Dalot to play left back. Dalot no call ball right back in the air, then send Wako ball left back.
Dalot, that's his name. All he does is run. And
he cannot
I think United
to save his life. That boy cannot defend.
I think at this point, United is doing that thing that that some teams, AC Milan, for instance, they just holding on to the sentiment of we are united, and that's about it. And and we say this all the time, and nobody's scared of you anymore. Like Osasuna caught Barca last weekend, and they disciplined us 4-2.
Oh my goodness, the audacity of some of the goals. Who at
exactly
10 years ago, or let's say 15 years ago, a player would be scared to even dribble, like to shoot at the goalkeeper. Barcelona.
At the goalkeeper, but so when you're meeting teams and Burnley is coming to Old Trafford and dominating you, and you are losing 3-0 to Tottenham, you consider going the first 5 minutes. Home. Like it's wild.
At home,
the defender took the ball, ran the entire length of the pitch, and nobody could foul him. Nobody could foul him, like not a single player.
That was the similar situation with the FC20. The right back just took the ball through like 6 players, and eventually Ericsson just even passed it. It's like, my memory will do more. Why like, come on. Well, okay.
It's
let's start.
Your team.
I don't wanna hold you off too much. Thank you for your review on the UCL and then the Europa League. We hope to continue again later.
Awesome. Thank you for always inviting me. I enjoy our discussions.